All right, thank you, Ashley. We are inside of AutoCAD Electrical right now. One thing you're going to notice with a lot of the tool sets is it keeps you in a comfortable environment. It's still AutoCAD. It's AutoCAD with other features, obviously designed around controls drawings, electrical drawings, so on and so forth. But if I look up at the top of the screen here, you're going to notice the Home tab is the same Home tab that you have in regular AutoCAD. Now, we don't typically use a lot of these tools. We do use them when creating custom symbols, and on panel drawings, we use some of these tools. But for the most part, if you look at the Project tab, all the way over to the Conversion Tools tab, these are all AutoCAD Electrical specific commands that we have access through via the ribbon. Over on the left side here that I have set to auto hide, this is a standard palette that AutoCAD uses, and this is called our Project Manager palette. This is where you organize all of your drawings that are part of a project. With AutoCAD Electrical, you'll be more in a project mode instead of one drawing at a time mode. Every single drawing that I have inside of this project can literally be linked together. You can also organize the projects with subfolders. And an example of that would be down here. Here's another project that I have where all the schematic drawings went in one folder, all the panels drawing went in another folder. You could set up a pneumatic subfolder. You can organize it any way you want. And again, that's just another way to organize the project itself. I don't have any in here. This is a pretty small project that I'm going to be demoing here this morning. So inside of a typical drawing, I'm going to start with just a couple of drafting tools. You're going to notice that there are a lot of just nice drafting tools that can make your life a lot easier. So if I want to throw down, I'm going to call it a rung. I'll place one here and I'll place one here. Now I can control the size and the color of that wire as I do drop it in. And the next thing I'm going to do is insert some symbols in here, and I'm going to insert some parent and child symbols. AutoCAD Electrical uses a parent-child relationship between any symbols that you want to link together. So when I go to the icon menu here, you get delivered out of the box a plethora of symbols, standard symbols. So there's NFPA/JIC, there's pneumatic libraries, there's hydraulic libraries, there's IEC libraries. Anything that's a standard symbol, you should not have to recreate. And these are AutoCAD blocks. They're standard blocks with attributes. What makes them unique is the symbol naming convention and the attribute names that are associated to them. And this doesn't mean that you won't create some of your own symbols as well. I'm going to start with a relay coil, which is a typical parent symbol. I'm going to drop it down directly onto my wire right here. And I get my Insert Edit Component dialog box. Notice that the tag comes in automatically. This particular project is set up to read the reference number that I dropped it on. You can set it up as sequential. You can set it up multiple different ways to suit your standards. Next thing I'm going to do is attach a part number to it. Part numbers come into play when I want to run a bill of material for the whole project or specific locations in the project, point-to-point wire reports, all that good stuff. If I hit the lookup button right here, I'm just going to attach an Allen Bradley 700P relay or part number to this particular symbol. Notice that the pin information automatically was populated as soon as I gave it a part number. When you share any component between manufacturers, you can dictate the pin information through the part number instead of making it permanently part of the block itself. Installation and location codes are another method to organize your project. These could all be enclosures that are part of this project. Maybe this one goes to the MCAB 5 location. Then I'm just going to fill in some information. I could type in information up here for the description of this. Another handy tool is I'm going to hit my defaults button and select it from a list. We have commonly used phrases, and we encourage everybody to modify this file to suit your specific commonly used phrases. And all it essentially does is save us some typing time here. So I'll pick OK, drop my symbol down. Notice it did automatically trim the wire for me. Don't have to worry about cleaning anything up like that. Now I'm going to draw just a couple of single wires, maybe from here down to here, and then I'll do another one maybe from here to here. And I'm just going to put a couple more symbols down here to complete a quick circuit. Like I can put a, let's say, a push button down right here. You're going to get the same dialog box that you just saw when I placed the relay down for any parent symbol itself. So I could just call this e-stop as an example. And again, I could attach a part number to it. Don't really need to keep doing that. And let's say this goes in the same enclosure. And I'll say OK. Then I'm going to get rid of the wire between here and here. Notice I got rid of the tie points as well. And I'll just place another push button down over here as well. Say OK. Now I'm going to place a child symbol down that belongs to this particular parent symbol. And notice how that you're going to see the cross-referencing automatically fill in for you. So I'll go back to the relay/contacts, just put down a normally open contact. And notice that this dialog box looks a little bit different than the other one. This is because this is a child symbol. With a child symbol, I'm not going to fill in the part number twice, and the tag doesn't come in. I have to assign this to a parent. It doesn't know which parent that I want to assign this to. So I can select the parent sibling button right here because it's within close proximity. And you're going to notice all the information that I already filled in at the parent level comes in, including the first set of contact pin information or terminal information, if you will. And as you're going to see here, at the parent level, it's telling me where that normally open contact is. And at the child level, it tells me where the parent is. And it doesn't matter if it's on different pages. If I go to the next drawing in this project, and I'm just going to put one in here anywhere. Don't worry about the design intent, just worry about the concepts. And I'm going to assign it to that same parent symbol that I just had. And select OK. So it doesn't matter if it's on a different drawing. This is where that project manager comes back into play. These two drawings are literally linked together. So if I go back to my previous drawing, you're going to see that the parent symbol updated automatically, and now it tells me I have another child symbol for this on sheet 5, line 3. Now, if you noticed, when I assigned the part number was specifically for 2 contacts. Well, let's say I forget and I start to go over. I'll place another one down anywhere. And I'll give it the same parent assignment. And this is where some of the error checking comes into play with AutoCAD Electrical. It's giving me an alert. Hey, this part number does not cover more than 2 contacts of this relay. What do you want to do? Normally, I would cancel immediately, and then I would edit my original parent and just assign it a different part number that can now handle more than 2 contacts. So this is the real-time error checking that's part of AutoCAD Electrical itself. I'm just going to cancel here. And notice this particular drawing has no wire numbers on it right now. We can wire number specific circuits or individual wires in a drawing. I can wire number a whole drawing. I could wire number a complete project all at the same time if I wanted to. So I'll go to my wire number command. You notice this particular symbol right here is what we call a source or destination symbol, meaning this wire started in a different location on a completely different page than I'm at right now. It's going to automatically pick that up. So when I go to my wire number command, and you set your formatting at the property level, just like with the component tag, meaning do you use reference numbers for your wire numbers? Do you use sequential numbers for your wire numbers? I'll just say drawing Y. So now I have wire numbers on every single wire, and it's smart enough to know that this particular wire came from another drawing. If I want to prove that, I can right click on this, go to my surfer command, and get me back to where the original source is. And that's why I'm going to close that. So that's why that is wire number 309 on the other drawing instead of picking up a reference number that was on this particular drawing. And it will keep track of those. I can continue to carry that 309, as you can see, within the same drawing here. So I ended it down here, picked it up back again here. I can continue that throughout the whole project if I wanted to. Now let me go to the next drawing again in the project, and I just want to discuss PLC modules a little bit. We have a utility called parametrically built PLCs. We also have standalone. The parametrically built PLCs, as you can see, out of the box, you have a large library of manufacturers. So the PLC modules themselves are already created. You can use them right out of the box. This particular one, and we insert these via the part number itself. So this is a 1771-IAD. If I want to insert another 1771-IAD, and let me just go to a blank drawing to do that. And the first thing I'll do here, which comes into play a lot as well, is use my insert ladder command. This is going to drop down a whole bunch of wires and reference numbers. So I'll say 8 here. I'll say the spacing is 1. I'll tell it to give me 18 rungs. And let's say I want the first reference number to be 1200. I'll pick OK. And I'm just going to drop this in somewhere in the upper left corner here. And then getting back to the PLC module, I'll insert this 1771 IAD just like you saw in the other drawing. I can drop it in right about here. Now what's unique to these parametrically built modules is I could insert every single one of these, or I could allow for spacers and breaks. This is nice, so I could maybe break the module in half if I wanted to and pick up the rest of it on another drawing or even within the same drawing. If I had a 32-point module, it probably shows 16 points here and 16 points over here, but the flexibility allows me to break the module apart and also insert spaces if I needed a little bit more than a 1 inch between each termination point. I'll just say insert all. You can give it rack information, you can give it slot information. It has a series of addresses that you can choose from. Doesn't mean that you have to use any of these. You certainly fill in whatever you want here. I'm just going to pick something from the list. And how do I want to address it? I'll say decimal. And then there's my module itself. And like I said, I could have broken it in half, placed it somewhere else. I could have added spaces in between the termination points as well. Now I'm going to go to a panel drawing, and I'm going to insert what we refer to as footprint symbols. Footprint symbols are symbols that belong in the panel. It's your full-scale, one-to-one component, just as if you were holding it in your hand, just like you can see here. Now, the easiest way to do that, I'm going to go to my panel tab, and I'm going to pick the schematic list right here. And when I go to the schematic list, obviously, this already has a lot of the stuff already in there. If I pick this mark existing, and then pick the hide existing, let me pick show all. If I pick mark existing, wherever you see an X means you've already inserted that component into the panel. If I pick hide existing at this point, it's only going to list what I need to go into the panel at this point. So I'm going to pick that CR403 that I already inserted back at the schematic level, and I'll just drop it in right here. And as soon as I drop it in, all the information that I already filled out at the schematic level gets carried over to the parent level. That's why we see the Insert Edit Component dialog box already filled out. And I'll pick OK. And it brings the list up. I can continue to drop some of these in. I'm just going to close this down. Now, it knew what footprint symbol to insert because that is tied to a part number as well. We do that through a separate database. But that's how it knows what to insert when you're inserting footprint symbols. Now I'm going to go back to my schematic symbol. And as an example, let's say I made a mistake and I wasn't supposed to use an Allen Bradley part number here. I was supposed to use a square D part number. So I'm going to edit the component, hit my lookup, and I'm going to search for a square D type X. And I'm going to assign it this square D part number. I'm going to pick OK. It tells me the pins have different values and an item number is already being used. I got to assign. So these are all more alerts letting me know what I have to do with this new part number. But the best part of this is I'm going to pick OK. And it's going to ask me to update related components on other drawings. And it's literally going to open that panel back up. And you're going to see it right now, even before it goes back. It's going to put a different footprint symbol down. So if I surf to the panel drawing at this point, it knew that the square D footprint symbol was different than the Allen Bradley one, so it automatically swapped it out. I don't have to worry about manually going through that process. And then from here, I would just move it into place wherever it needs to go. And I'm good to go here. Now, another way that I don't think enough people talk about that you can insert symbols is through what we call the catalog browser. I'll go back to, let's say, my drawing 04 here. And instead of going to the icon menu, inserting your symbol, and then looking for the part number that you want, if you already know what the part number is that you want to use, you can insert the schematic symbol via the part number as well. So here's the catalog browser. Just as I hit the lookup button, it's literally the same thing. But if I pick that same square D part number, notice I can insert the symbol right from here. So if you already know what your part number is going to be, you can insert the schematic symbol that way as well. And you can add these to a favorites list. So most of the time you might be using some of the same manufacturers, some of the same part numbers. You can just hit that favorites list and it will list all of those part numbers and you can insert the symbols there as well. So I just like to point that out because I don't think it gets enough coverage. It hasn't been around that long and it was always on the wish list for a lot of people. So very handy tool itself. Now let's talk about some reports. When I go to the Reports tab here, I've got Schematic reports and I've got Panel reports. And as an example, on the schematic side, let's say I want to run a point-to-point wire report. So I go to the From To. I could do it for the whole project. I could do it for just this particular drawing. If I select Project, I'll do all my drawings. And here's where those location codes come into play. Maybe I just want to run a point-to-point wire report from the machine to the MCAB5 and the operator station. I pick OK. And here's a complete point-to-point wire report for just those locations. And having used two competitive packages from AutoCAD Electrical in my past life, the report generation, because they all, I'm never going to trash a competitive product, but the report generation inside of AutoCAD Electrical blows the other ones away. And the reason why I say that is how easy it is to configure or customize your own reports. If I select Change Report Format right now, I can add or eliminate the fields that I actually want to report. So as you can see here, I'm showing the wire number, the location where it's coming from, the component where it's coming from, the pin information, and then where it's going to and the size and the color of the wire. Well, maybe I don't need, for this particular example, the size and the color of the wire. So I'll remove it, pick OK. Now here's my configured report. I don't have to exit the software. I don't have to open up a separate database, move fields around, create tables, all of that. I can remain in the software and take care of. Any report that you run, you can save it to a file or you can place it right back onto a drawing. If I go to Save File, I can save this to any one of these popular file formats, meaning a simple text file, the ASCII, an Excel spreadsheet, a database, an XML, and a comma delimited. From there, you can do anything you want with the report. If I pick Excel, here's the name of the file that it's going to default to. I can rename it, obviously, to anything else. And I can place it into any folder that I want. So if I pick Save, I'll replace it with an existing one. You can run scripts as this is being written. So now I just created an Excel spreadsheet of this particular report. Let me go back to my panel drawing. This might be a typical situation where you want to place a report, a bill of material back onto a drawing, let's say. So I'll go to my panel report, I'll select bill of material. I'll do it just for this particular drawing. And from here, I can take this report, put on drawing. It uses AutoCAD tables to insert these reports. I'm going to just choose a standard table as an example. You can have it placed down automatically at a specific XY location. If it was very large, you could break it up within a drawing or separate drawings. I'll just pick OK here. And I'll just shove it off to the side. Close this down. Now I got a bill of material right on my drawing. And now I can match all those item numbers in the item number columns with my balloons that I have tied to each component here. And the balloons are real easy to place down as well. On the panel report, we have a balloon command. So I could pick any component. It already exists. But as you can see, I can place the balloon down. The balloon is derived from whatever item number is assigned to it itself. One other thing I'd like to mention as well is a lot of the stuff you get out of the box, a lot of literature as far as parent-child relationship symbols are concerned, a lot of relays and contacts. Use it for anything you want. When I was doing this for a living, I dealt with a lot of drives. I would create a parent symbol out of a drive, place it on the three-phase drawing, and then some of the external I/O I would place on a PLC drawing. But the parent symbol would be one place, child symbol would be another. You know, you can link any two components that you want at any time. So as an example of that, I'm going to place down a proc switch and tie it back to a pneumatic drawing itself. So let me just place down another rung here. And I'm going to go to my wire type and give it a red wire as an example. And I'll drop it down right here. Then I'm going to go back to my icon menu. Also notice I have a custom category here. Any custom symbol that you can create, you can add to the icon menu. Makes it real easy to place your symbols down. So I'll drop this proc switch down. And just to save some time, because I know we're running out of time, I'm not going to bother filling in the catalog information. I'll give it a location. And I'll call this pin press retracted. And say OK. So now I'm going to go to a pneumatic drawing, because a lot of times the controls people are in charge of designing the pneumatics, hydraulics. So now I'm going to insert the equivalent prox symbol that I want to cross-reference back to that I/O drawing. So let's say I place this right here, select project in order to select my parent symbol. Carries over all the information. Say OK. And now as you can see here, it tells me back on 513, that's where the equivalent proc switch is for the schematic itself. So if I go to Surfer, I can see that these two are now linked together, and there's the cross-reference that goes back to the pneumatic drawing. So I like to show that because, you know, it's not, parent and child symbols aren't just about a relay coil and contact. You can create a relationship between any symbols that you want. And again, going back to reports, if there's something that you want to pull out of the drawings, you can create a report out of it. You saw me do the bill of material, the point-to-point wire report. We have PLC reports, terminal reports, connectors, cables. I had somebody purchase the software just for the wire label report alone. Swear to God, not lying on this. So it'll bring out a complete wire label report. And then from here, save this to a file. And a lot of the Brady label machines and some of the other ones can accept an Excel spreadsheet or at least an ASCII file. And that way you don't have to fat finger in all your wire numbers that you have to label. And then one other thing, because I'm sure Ashley's getting nervous right now because it's 12:30 my time anyway, title block information. Title blocks work very efficiently inside the software itself, meaning I can update a whole project at the same time. So if I go back to my project itself, and I'm going to go to descriptions, as you can see, a lot of this information isn't filled in. I got a couple of the attributes filled in on this. I got a drawn by, I got a check by. Well, let's say I'll fill in a drawn date of today. And then I'll also go back and fill in a part number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll pick OK. And then I'm going to go to my title block update. And I'll just say select all right here. If I added any sheets, I can update those. I can update anything I want. And I'll say OK project wide. And I'll do all the drawings. And just like that, as you can see, it updated this drawing and every other drawing that's in the project. So there's my date that's updated, and then there's the part number that's updated as well. So no more having to call up every single drawing that might be part of a project with regular AutoCAD, double clicking on your title block, giving new values, saving, closing down, and going to the next one. You can do that at the project level itself. So these are just some of the tools. I could go on for a couple hours. I'm sure none of you want to go through that, but this is just the beginning of what AutoCAD Electrical is capable. It's supposed to make your life a heck of a lot easier from a design standpoint than all the manual processes that you have to go through right now in regular AutoCAD. And since this whole tool set thing came out, you already own it. If you're a good AutoCAD user, now you own AutoCAD Electrical, start using it. Come to training first, of course, but start using it to make your life easier. From there, I'll hand it back to Ashley or answer questions.
Yeah, Rick, are there any questions that we could go over with everyone?
Yes, there are a couple, and there was at least one that just popped up that I'll get to here in a minute. But also, I just want to make one additional comment, and that is, it is easy to get frustrated with this software if you try to figure it out on your own. I highly recommend getting some training that we offer in order to get a good handle on how this works, because there's a lot of steps on how to make all this stuff work that he did. He makes it look so easy, and it is easy, but it's following the right procedures and steps. So I do highly recommend that. Great point. Just a few questions that I'll highlight that I've already answered. Yes, the project manager does take the place of the sheet manager. It's you can't use the sheet manager inside of AutoCAD Electrical. You do have to use the project manager to keep all the drawings part of the same set. Another one was about working with Inventor or getting wire harnessing drawings in 3D. This will work with Inventor to where they use the same project information, same catalogs, and they will pass information back and forth, so you can get wire links and things like that when you do your wire harnessing in Inventor. The next question I'll let Greg answer, and it is, can the parts library be linked to a company inventory? Can
it be linked to an inventory? You can. It's an access database. Think of it that way. So anything that you do with access currently, you can do the same thing. And we've had situations where you tie it to any, business model that you're using, like SAP as an example. So it takes some customization, but yes, it can be done. Definitely ask your Hagerman rep to get more information on that, or we can help you walk through that. But it's an access database. Look at it that way. What can you link with an access database right now? All the same rules apply.
Next question, and these are all questions that are just now being asked, so I never got a chance to answer it. So the next question is, if you add a sheet with the subsequent page numbers and related reference numbers, will update?
Yes. So if I go to a couple ways you can do it. Remember, I was just displaying the title block. So if I go to let's say the title block update right here, it's a very good question. I have the category down here where I can resequence sheet values. So in that project manager, the DWG file names themselves really mean nothing as far as how you want to give this a sheet number itself. So a lot of times, let's say you got a 20-page project, and then you're like, oh no, I need to squeeze a drawing in between 10 and 11. Go ahead, that's fine. You can do that all day long. Then you would go and resequence the sheet numbers themselves. And then after that, we can run the update retag. And if we have to retag, if you're using reference numbers or even sequential, and you have to retag everything, then you run this across the project and you're done. Pretty simple process.
Next question, I'll go ahead and answer myself. Can you have these on paper space? It seems like all the designs, including title blocks, are all done in model. That's just a personal preference. The project he was working on is using model space. I usually use paper space for all my projects, so I put title blocks and viewports on my paper space, and then I do my drawing in model space the same way I would in AutoCAD. So that's just a personal preference. But yes, it can be done in paper space. I've noticed most of the demos out of the box only use model space too, but that's just a preference of the way whoever created those demos set them up. Next question for you is there any sort of interface to send the diagram and attributes to ETAP to do short circuit analysis, production coordination analysis, and other analysis?
Never heard of ETAB. I'd have to get back to you on that question.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either. Most likely, if it can accept Excel files or ASCII files or something, there's a way to export to an Excel and ASCII. You saw through the report generators. There's also some other methods for that. So it's possible, but without knowing ETAP, I don't believe either of us can answer that. But I just wanted to give you a shot just in case you knew and I didn't. Can you increase the size of electrical parts and symbols? All at the same time.
All at the same time. You mean if the physical size of this symbol right here, you'd want to scale it up or down? If that's what the question means.
I believe so.
Yeah, you can scale it across the board. You can change the attribute size across the board as well. If the text isn't big or small enough, you can definitely make arrangements for that.
You can also do a setting in the project where you tell it what scale factor you want symbols to be placed in. So if these are not big enough, you can always make globally, they insert like a 1.5 scale factor when you insert them. And also at the time of insertion here in the icon menu, as he's showing you right here.
Yeah, if it's before you place them down, obviously it's a no-brainer. Like Rick just said, you can plug in whatever scale that you want right here. After the fact, it gets a little bit more complicated, but if you know ahead of time, and you probably will, then yeah, you just change that scale factor to whatever you want, and when you bring those symbols in, it'll be scaled to whatever you want it to be.
And the next question is kind of similar. So if you wanted to do all the proximity switches at the same times, you could do that through that dialog box he was showing a little earlier, where it has a global select everything and change scale factors type thing. You could do a block update. There's several different ways. It's kind of hard to answer that with any one method, because there's, like, it's AutoCAD. There's always 4 or 5 different methods to accomplish the same feature.
Exactly. And right here's what you were kind of talking about, swap update block. I can literally swap out one library for another library. And in fact, out of the box even, I didn't talk about this, but you have schematic libraries. And my first one is a custom library where I got those custom symbols out of. Next one is a JIC. After that, you see the JIC 125, then there's a 1 dash. It's literally the same library, except some of the text sizes on the attributes are different. So you can have a whole library of components that are physically different size. That's how it swaps them out. Go ahead, you were going to say something?
Well, the 1 dash is for one-line diagrams also.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. It does come with another one. And it's the JIC1. So basically, I could, if I could take this one out and browse another one in that has different sizes. It's called the JIC1 instead of the 125. Yep.
And that block update he was showing you, the swap update blocks, is a project-wide command where it can be drawing only. so you can do an entire project at a time.
Right here. You can pick them one at a time, do the whole drawing or the whole project.
Right now we're done with all the questions. I'll give everybody a few seconds here to see if anybody has one more question before we turn it over to Ashley for closing. So I believe that's the last of the questions, Ashley, if you want to close us out here. And
Okay. Well, thanks, guys, for the presentation and the questions. This will conclude our broadcast. If you think of additional questions later, you can simply reply to that confirmation or reminder email you received from GoToWebinar. We can get those to Greg or Rick or your salesperson to get your questions answered. Once again, if you could take just a few moments to fill out that survey, we would appreciate it. It will just pop up as we close down today. Thank you, guys, for the presentation, and thanks for attending, everyone. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.